Hi, and welcome to the first of the new podcast of A Life and a Living. And as you can see, we've kind of done a little bit of redecorating, and we have shifted the emphasis from the Winning Teams podcast that you've been enjoying so much today to A Life and a Living. And I want to explain to you kind of why we have done that. But I want to first of all say kind of what are the things that stayed the same. Because I know that you're a valued listener to the podcast, and I want to make sure that you are still getting great value for the great time that you give to us so generously to listen to our podcast and to be so loyal to that. So the things that stay the same is that we want to make sure that we're helping you to kind of stay absolutely in control and on top of the role that you have. That you're effective, that you're efficient, you're doing the right things, and you're doing the right things in the right order, and you really, really are in control and on top of the role that you have. The other thing that stays the same is that we want to focus on bringing you content that will help you to grow your business, because that's really, really important to you. And the other that stays the same is that we want to make sure that we're giving you tips on how to be an effective leader, and also how you can optimize the potential of your team, how you can coach, how you can develop, and how you can grow the team. So all of those stay the same and stay within that. But what we're bringing to it, and this is really based on the experience that I've had with coaching, senior executives and business leaders over the last number of years, that what we're trying to make sure is that we're not just kind of being one-dimensional about it, that we're actually looking at it, the totality of you. And I say that it's not just one dimension, that it's just your work and that's it. But certainly from the conversations that we're having with our clients, is that they really want to make sure that they're building, and I don't like work-life balance as a term, but you know what I mean by that it's not just focused on the work aspect of you, but that we're also focusing on the totality of you and the areas in your life that you really need to make sure that you're not kind of forsaking to the altar of your career or your business, but you are giving real time to ensure that you do not have any regrets, and that you are building and developing all the aspects of your life as you go forward, and not just focusing on that single aspect. And because something that is actually coming out very, very strongly in our coaching is that the real desire to build a life of significance. So how you create significance in your life, what does that mean to you? Because it will mean different things to different people. So it's really, really important that we focus in on that. We bring you strategies, we bring you examples, we bring you guests that can really help you to create that significance in your life and to understand what that means in your life. And the other aspect of that, which is, if you like, a follow on from the significance, is about, leaving a legacy. And I'm not talking about, how much money you leave, but I'm talking about, where did we impact the lives of people that we come in contact with? What will people feel, as a consequence? What will they experience as a consequence of being, in our orbit? And these things are really, really important. And it's certainly coming up a lot more. I think also it's interesting, during this time of COVID, that a lot of people are experiencing life from a very different perspective, in the sense of that they are in a different place physically, running their businesses, and they need to behave in a different way. And something that's come out very, very strongly, that for many people, things that they actually felt were really important, they're discovering are perhaps not so important. And also things that maybe they didn't pay a lot of attention to, they are now really seeing that these are the things that are really, really important. So that whole shift in significance and legacy is coming more and more to the fore. And that's really why the drive to kind of a little shift in the podcast to A Life and a Living, because it's not just focusing on earning a living, but it's also about building a life. So I want to thank you for being a subscriber. If you're a new subscriber, I want to welcome you. There's still going to be all of the great interviews that we did on Winning Teams available on my website, www.johnmurphyinternational.com, and of course the future episodes as we go forward with A Life and a Living. But I'd love to get some comments from you. I'd love to see if this is shaping up the way you want it to be, that it's really valuable and useful to you. So I want to welcome you to the newly refurbished, redecorated and relaunched a Life and a Living podcast. And I look forward to serving you and your team and the people in your world as we go forward and being a really valuable resource to you. So welcome to A Life and a Living.